After being the find of the series and his man of the match performance against England at Ranchi, with the England skipper paying rich compliments to him, saying that Ben Foakes may have a man crush on him given how good he has been since coming into the side with both bats and gloves, it's time to assess Dhruv Jurel. Dhruv Jurel came into the side with good but not great stats, with only one century from 15 first class games at an average of 46. Whilst he was considered talented, not many had him on their radar as India's gloveman, but with Kishan's, let's just say, aversion to playing any domestic cricket, and with KS Bharat's batsmanship not being quite good enough for the test level, the selectors went with Jurel, who has come through the under-19 circuit and is someone known for their batting. So let's take a look at what makes him so good and what he may need to improve. Firstly, he has a solid technique. He stays side on throughout delivery, which means that he accesses both offside and leg side without too much trouble, and against pace it looks like he can hit balls both sides of the wicket, with perhaps a slight leg side dominance given his bat swing comes from second slip region. But when defending, he defends straight and leaves well. Like with all newcomers into the test side, it will be interesting to see how disciplined he is when there is movement and bounce outside off stump. Against spin, he has a slight press, and from there he makes a second movement forward or back depending on the length. Additionally, he uses his feet well, so combining all of this, he really has the ability to toy with the spinner's length. Overall, his technique gives him the ability to rotate strike, and we saw this in the chase at Ranchi. He has a bit of Kohli about him against spin and pace. When the ball is full or back of a length, he can use his bottom hand at the last minute to find the gaps on the leg side. Thirdly, we have seen him play big innings now, and he calmed everything down that fourth test in Ranchi by rotating the strike and playing positively. Players who can perform on the big stage are worth their weight in gold, and it looks like Jurel could be that player. Dare I say, similar to another wicketkeeper of India's past. Alongside this big game temperament, we have seen in the IPL and Test that he can play big shots against spin and pace. For someone batting 6 or 7, this can help build runs with the lower order, and if you compare that with Ben Foakes, who has a solid defence but can't access the boundaries as well, it makes him much more dangerous. However, we should note there are some things to improve. One thing I mentioned is that his bat swing comes from second slip. This explains why he's so good on the leg side, but we saw how it has undone him when we look at the dismissal versus Tom Hartley, where he played slightly inside the line of the ball. Additionally, this technique may cause him to nick off against pace and seaming conditions, as he may come across the ball. But to mitigate this, he seems to have a lot of time to play the ball and may leave better in England or alter his technique to meet the demands of Test cricket in these countries. Regarding his keeping, he looks more than serviceable with some great takes for spin and pace, and he hasn't looked out of place. If anything, you can say there's an improvement versus Rishabh Pant, and I haven't noticed any drops that have cost India or any chances missed that he should have taken. So what next for Jurel? He seems lined up to be India's test keeper for the next year, and with Pant maybe not returning to his keeping duties, there's a good chance of that. But for him to stay in the side, he'll need to continue scoring runs as if he were a pure batsman, given how good Pant has been. Additionally, with the tour of Australia coming up, it's a big chance to prove himself in foreign conditions. That's if he can stay in the side till then. Overall, he has a high ceiling and the potential to develop into a pure batter for India who can keep, but a few innings don't make a career, so he will need to continue his development and show he can score runs outside of India, as well as continue to score runs with the lower order in clutch moments. So let me know what you thought of Jurel's debut series in the comments, and what you think he needs to do to stay as India's wicketkeeper batsman.